Hello there, and welcome to L&L Diamond Painting, the Caregivers Support version. I'm Lee.
I'm Lenore.
Don't know if anybody's here. It doesn't look like it, but we're going to get started anyway, or at least pretend to get started until people start showing up. And if they don't, well, then I'll be ending early. I am currently letting it run just because for the moment, just because of the fact that we do have workers and markers that come in every now and then, and we also have people that need to watch or want to watch the replay. So that's what I do.
And some people like Tammy
cannot be here. Speaking of Tammy, I have been directed, requested, instructed.
told.
Hey, Kat. Yes, directed, inspected, and told to make sure everybody knows that Tammy is safe. She has spotty internet at best and lousy cell signal. I am able to talk to her every now and then for about 2 or 3 minutes before she loses cell service.
She loves it.
Yeah, she's not too happy. She's also not happy that she can't be here with everybody. And she does apologize. So now my messages have been completed. Like I said, hello, Kat. I don't know who else is here. Maybe people are working and working. Yes, it is. I thought it was too. I was about to say hi, Lenore.
Hi,
Melanie, how are you?
Hi, Melanie. Bonjour to you. That's the update.
Yep, not a problem. And yeah, it's just it is driving her crazy. That is for sure.
Understatement.
Of course, she was almost in tears because she hates missing things.
Yeah.
And it's bad enough that I had to really be bad and inform her that she missed a pop-up live from Berta. Yeah, that would be a good thing, Melanie. Happy that it's Saturday and she's not working the weekend.
Oh.
But
Then I made him tell her that he
that I missed it too. I didn't forget it. I was never notified.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I was never notified.
He missed it too.
But yeah, I missed it too. So
but that sort of made things okay. A little.
A little. She was still mad. You know how she is with Berta.
Yeah, Sparkle Dust.
Yep.
Kat said the same thing.
That's right, Kat. She did. It wasn't very long. It was only about 7 minutes long. 7 or 8 minutes long. It was while she was on her way with Tia to the retreat. Sorry. I'm letting the TV distract me. That was really stupid.
That was really stupid.
Anyway, yes, Melanie, she did a live. She did a pop-up. She was live with Tia.
She took the plunge, yes. She did. She didn't see him.
Well, she's there. But no, this was on their way to the retreat the other day that she did the pop-up. You got to go to her channel and Berta's channel and check it out. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but that's okay. I got a hair in my mouth.
No.
Probably Kepler.
Oh, Jesus.
I'd add from my mustache for Miller.
Mhm.
But yeah, so needless to say, she wasn't too happy about missing that.
And not to be able to come on the caregivers, she wasn't happy. And then
Yep.
when he told her that, she really wasn't happy. Oh, I don't know, poor Tams.
Right. That was Tia's was live this morning. But Berta's was live a couple of days ago on the way to the retreat, talking about how she was following Rochelle. How they were following Rochelle there. And like, don't ever follow Rochelle. Apparently, Rochelle has a bit of a left foot. But anyway.
We got some rain. It didn't do much damage because this is our rainy season anyways. And we got some wind. That was what was most concerning to us because there's a tree right outside our bedroom window, a big tree.
Yes.
And the HOA won't cut it down, or at least cut an old tree, or at least cut the big branch that is, because if it ever fell in and we were in bed, we'd be, if not dead, we'd be really hurt. But none of that happened, thank God.
All right, hold on just a second, and I will pop up the link.
Melanie, you're bad.
Uh-oh. What is Melanie saying now?
She hopes Chad is keeping Tammy company.
Oh, more than likely. I did not bother to ask her this last time. I should have. Oops, wrong one. Dang it! I'll get this right. Yeah.
Okay, we're waiting.
You'd think I was brand new to this kind of thing.
That's how I would be.
Yeah, if this tree were to fall, it would fall directly on our bedroom.
Mhm.
And it's big enough that it would destroy the bedroom and crush us.
And our landlord has talked to the HOA. They refuse to do anything about it, and that type of the trees are their responsibility.
Yep, I understand that, Melanie. Sometimes it does with us too during the bigger weather. Not much going on. I do have some links that I keep trying to put into the description, but for some reason, I mean, they're huge links, and I just don't want to do that. So I gotta try to cut them down. I know. Give me a minute. I was doing something else first.
I'm sorry.
You're trying to jump again.
I'm sorry.
She's excited about something, so she wants me to tell all about it. But at any rate, I do have links for caregivers that I keep meaning to put in the description, but I got to figure out how to cut them down. They're like 9 different lines long for one link, and that's a little bit excessive. But I'll figure it out, and I'll get them into the description. The thing that Lenore was just talking about is the fact that next month we are actually going to have at least one guest. Tammy's actually agreed to come on as a guest, not as a participant and not as a mod, where we are going to delve into what it is to be the recipient of a caregiver, to need somebody as a caregiver, that kind of thing. Just to get a different perspective on it for those of us that were caregivers or are caregivers currently. But it just gives a different perspective so that people can maybe understand a little bit more when they get aggravated with the person that they're trying to take care of. I can't really say anything about the second guest
Possible second.
because nothing's been confirmed yet. I gotta wait till I get confirmation. But I will say that it is from the caregiver's point of view as well. Hey, Carol, happy little Rose.
Hi, Carol.
So we'll have both perspectives. It's just a matter of if the second guest confirms or not. If I can get that worked out. Yeah, just I figure it would be good for everybody. On the recipient side, so that the caregiver knows what the recipient goes through, their frame of mind, that kind of thing. And the caregiver side, just so that we all, because we will all know what that's like, that those of us that are caregivers, but it's just that confirmation, if you will, that we're not losing our minds. Well, literally. There are links for different online caregiver tips and different caregiver supports and whatnot that I researched and looked up and whatnot and such. Let me see if I can get something here at least. See if maybe I can pull something up.
You're right, Melanie. Just they can't accept it. I don't, I'm getting on there in years myself, and I don't know if I could accept it from Lee. Well, I'd have to, because he beat me into submission. I'm kidding.
Not far from wrong.
But I can, in a way, understand that having to depend on someone else.
Oh, this one came out good.
What are you talking about?
A link.
Oh, okay.
So that I can put in the description later on. I mean, that particular one is Alzheimer's, but, support group is a support group. You know what I mean?
Hi, happy little drills.
That's Carol.
That's Carol. I never connect the names. The handle, you want to call it, like the CDs do.
Yeah.
So I'm a little slow. My poor brother was driving me crazy with the storm coming.
Oh.
I was ready to run down to Massachusetts and kill him, but it would have taken some time.
That would be kind of hard to do. Just run up to Massachusetts.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe I did fix him and I don't realize it.
And he was just worried about me because we two are the only two that are left out of a family of 7 kids. Bobby and I are the only 2 that are left. Everybody else, my half brothers and 4 half brothers, gone, and our full brother is gone. So there's only 2 of us, and I am the oldest.
Yeah, I know. I did the same thing with Tammy's links as well for the different people she mods for. I just haven't done it yet.
Yes, Michelle, that is true. Oh, well, I feel bad for my deceased brother Klein. His mother she was really bad. They had to finally put her in a home because they couldn't keep her. She was angry all the time.
Hello, Michelle.
So I understand that.
Well, Klein got to a point where he had to be put.
Yeah, well, Klein's just forgot everything. He got that, but not that part of it. Your dad is the same, Melanie? That's rough. It's really rough.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, my mother, her mother-in-law, although sometimes she considers her
I
her
do.
second mom,
I do love that pieces.
had basically it's a form of Alzheimer's. It's called generalized cerebral atrophy, where basically the brain shrinks. And it got to a point where she couldn't remember things. She was hallucinating constantly. And my brother took care of her primarily. She was down here in Florida, and he stayed down here with her and took care of her primarily. I came down at one point towards the end and was with her when she passed.
Spot that you really have it. Huh? And my mother-in-law was so good. One Christmas, my brother Klein wanted to go to his daughter's, and Alice wasn't the woman's mother. And he went with her, and my mother-in-law had invited me over because Lee was away. I think he was overnight on something. I don't remember exactly. It's a while ago. And she invited Alice to come over. She fed my mother-in-law had a big Christmas feast. She had presents for her. I had presents for them. I think it was Alice's nicest Christmas in years.
Could be.
And but that was my mother-in-law. She was such a lady.
Yeah, that's what happened with my mom. Kat, is the fact that she just it got really bad. It was no fun to deal with at all.
It's no fun to see.
You know, but when you're caregiving, as most of you know that are caregivers, your life is basically on hold because, or at least ours was, other than having to work because we needed to make money. Other than that, our life was on hold because we had to be there in case mom needed something. And when I say that in this last part, I'm talking about her mom. But in case mom needed something, in case she needed to go somewhere, in case, you know, whatever the case may be, I had to work luckily my work schedule was such that I was working primarily nights at that point. So I could be there during the day to bring her to her appointments and whatnot, which affected my sleep, of course, because I had to sleep during the day to be ready for work at night. So that got messed up. So your life really does go on hold, and it takes its toll on everybody concerned. That's why I keep saying that, you know, if you need to get somebody in the house, if you have family that's willing to do that, plus the fact that nursing services now, home nursing services do have people that will come,
Yes.
you know, and sit with family and take care of whatever needs arise at any given time. So I would suggest taking advantage of that because it's well worth taking the time out for you. And if you're with somebody else, it's time for you and your significant other to unwind, relax. Yes, it is, Sparkle. It really is. Luckily, my mom didn't get aggressive. But in the end, we were using, I don't know what they call it, technically speaking, but it's basically a mini vacuum. So you can pull out the saliva that's in their mouth. No way in the age you don't know hockey sticks.
Sister and I, talking about her mother and father.
Yeah.
But not them too. Her sister and her taking care of her when she was in a job. She may change her mind.
She may change her mind, but it also may come to a time when it's like, sorry, you don't have any say. You know?
His mother always said, please don't put me in the home. Please don't put me in the home.
Yep. And she didn't. She stayed home. Matter of fact, we had her family, or at least a couple of people in her family, had and us had a big to do about it because they wanted to put her in a home, and we're like, no, she's not going.
Your brother stood up to them.
Oh yeah, he did, and I would have been on the next plane down if they gave him any more shit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, eventually that tends to change as it gets closer, so to speak. But in either case, it's not easy. I don't like nursing homes for many reasons. Some of them are nice, some of them are really nice, and people get taken care of real well. I'm not. Yeah, okay, Kat. Be fancy on me.
She knows.
Yeah, I know she knows, but that's not the point.
I know. Well, she should.
She's making fun of me by coming up with the name, so it makes me look stupid. It's stupid. Stupid. How is it she says it? It's stupid. Catherine, when we were picking out pen colors one time, Catherine was saying, no, you don't put blue with pastel, it's stupid. Blue is stupid. She never lives it down.
Oh, wow.
And she never will. I wonder if that's why she doesn't come as often. But anyway, so like I said, we will be having a guest next month, at least one, to try and give it a little bit different perspective. I think that's about where we can go with this, not as far as this live goes, just the next progression in the lives is to have some guests on and share perspectives and whatnot. At least in my book. I don't know what the rest of you feel. Not like there's a lot of people here at the moment, but
At least 6. 4.
6, 7. But nonetheless, I think it's a good place to go is to start having some people on, maybe people that can give a little bit more information than what I'm able to give. After all, I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. But I play one on YouTube. Sort of like the old commercial. I am not a doctor, but I play one on TV. But the other question that I was thinking of this morning as I was thinking about today's live is the fact that I was wondering if anybody has ever heard of I play it well.
I agree with you too, Melanie.
I think so too, Melanie. That's why I thought of it, and I'm sure somebody would have thought of it and suggested it as well. I mean, it's not exactly a rocket science thing. But anyway, as I was saying, is the fact that the other thing I was wondering if anybody has ever heard of is if there is an event that highlights caregivers You know, I had not heard of one that supports police, fire, and EMS in the way of 9/11. So I start and supports 9/11 remembrances. So that's why I started that one. But I just didn't know anybody had ever heard one for caregiver support. I think that would be good too. That one probably would be focused more on healthcare professionals and whatnot.
Well,
But we'll see. For those of you that might be on the replay, don't forget to put your 2 cents in too. We'd like to hear what you have to say on this whole matter, from the guests all the way to the event.
there's something added.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it?
What?
Look at me.
Oh, I didn't realize she had jumped up there, and I was looking at the screen when she did it too. Cinnamon has decided to make an appearance.
Well, she's my caregiver. She won't come over.
No, well, I don't care. I'll come over here. I was hoping she'd turn around.
She's going to jump down. Oh, you stop.
No, she's not. She's going to beat you in the head.
She's playing Oreo.
Up there she is. Now she's going to beat you in the back of the head. Yeah, that would be part of it, Kat, is you could do maybe a custom or something.
That's really nice.
And you are right, support animals are caregivers. I know, because that's what we have these two registered as. They're both registered as emotional support. November is
What?
National Caregivers Month, National Family Caregivers Month.
Oh, wow. You didn't know that.
No, and I should have, because I've seen something about it. I just didn't remember the month.
Oh,
Interesting. Might be worth looking into.
definitely.
Not watch somebody steal my idea and come up with doing it. Yeah, as long as they give me credit, I don't care.
You know, also. Well, Sparkle didn't know that either.
No.
There's a lot of us that didn't know this.
No, like I said, I had seen something about it, but I didn't remember a month being given.
Yeah.
I probably should have.
Haley, let's do that.
I think it's a good idea, Ken. I think we should. And maybe this time, instead of doing the first one without sponsors and whatnot, maybe we should try and find some sponsors.
It's kind of short again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not October yet, but
Probably not for this month, but maybe for next year. At least I think. I could be wrong.
you could be right too.
But
In Canada, makes caregivers awareness. That's nice. Yes, we should be able to get some stuff.
yeah, sponsors are fairly easy to find, because exactly they want and their product is really good. Depending on the small shop. I don't know too many small shops that I've heard of that aren't very good. So it's all worth it.
So you see what Michelle says?
I'm looking at that now.
That's good. She's a definite resource.
Yeah. Yep. Like Chuck Along.
Chuckling?
Yeah, it's Chuck Along.
Oh,
It's probably autocorrect.
probably.
It's Chuck Pinson.
November is more worldwide. Oh, we didn't know that.
Yep. But still, I mean, well, what we could do is 6 months. So if you do it in February, you cover Canada and the United States. I'm kidding. But anyway, it does have a good ring to it, you know.
I have resources as well. I work.
Yep. Yeah. I worked in a security and a dual diagnosis. It was not fun. But you have to deal with that and deal with sick patients as well. Not good.
Well, I worked in a hospital in the admitting office and registration and everything, which just doesn't seem to have a lot of patient input. However, we were the ones that would have to go up to the psych ward in the hospital and interview the patients. And we had no training. We just walked in and talked to them. We didn't, so you sort of learn while you learn.
That is, like I said, we can discuss that as well. That is, it would be especially nice if I could get you in the damn Facebook group as a moderator, for crying out loud. For some reason or other, I can't get Kat in as a moderator on the in memory of event.
You know why?
I have no idea. We've been trying to figure out because somebody else tried to get her in on theirs.
Yeah, hospitals are interesting. Yeah.
You could say that. They are interesting, sort of.
We actually had a lot of patient contact because we were the first. Like I said, we were admitting, and anybody that came in, we were the first ones to see them. A lot of times they weren't happy. But, sick people a lot of times aren't happy. So.
Yeah, you do. But we'll have to.
Yeah. We'll have to turn
Figure,
on the screen again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we should really look into that later.
Yeah, we'll look into it as far as that goes and see what we can do after the fact.
Wow.
And yes, this is part of what a caregiver support group is, because we not only talk about the things that we go through in supporting our loved ones or clients or whatever, because I mean, let's face it, caregiver support is for those that actually work in the industry and make the money doing it. They still need support. So,
are you a nurse? You must be, or a social worker. There's 2 units of ICU. Oh.
Yeah.
See you, Jeff.
But so talking about things like stress relieving.
You're an RN. God bless you. Lord.
Stress relieving hobbies, stress relieving crafts, as it were, is all part and parcel to caregiver support, just like any other support. Melanie's in social work.
Yeah, that's right.
Melanie, I knew was in social work. I didn't know that Kat was an RN.
Yeah.
I should have known something, because anytime something comes up medical, it's always Kat comes up with the answer.
Sorry.
Yeah, that sucks.
My niece, who I am currently estranged from, and may forever be estranged from, is a nurse practitioner, and because she's actually older than I am, 2 years older.
Oh.
Yes, your favorite.
Yeah.
And
Little Miss Man Hands.
Yeah. hands just like a father, huge,
Yeah.
big hands.
Really big. I mean, if you had a contest where you could try to identify somebody by their hands, you would swear this woman was a man.
But smart as a freaking whip. I think she did all the brains in the family. Because certainly I
And I won't say anything else about it. Nope. My mother taught me very well. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Hold on a second. I gotta look at something.
He's looking at something. I don't know what. He's looking at something. And Melanie, social work isn't an easy field either.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No, it's not. And it's probably very depressive too.
Practitioner. Not only that, she had a real estate license. I mean, this woman was a real go-getter. I don't even know if she's still alive. To be quite honest with you, I'm assuming she is.
But no, that was just Holly saying she was looking at diamond painting kits, and she wanted me to take a look at it. I'll take care of it after lunch.
Hi.
Rhonda.
Hi. How are you?
Hello, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. She's only heard that about 1.5 million times, probably today.
I don't know if I could go through that either, Kat. Social work, I don't know. 14. What?
Oh my God.
Oh Lord, that girl's gonna be so lucky.
He felt tiny.
Yeah.
Well, that's how a lot of people feel when my brother and I stand together.
Oh, please.
He's
Kennedys.
He's 6'7", I'm 6'6". Okay. We used to do things, and since you gave my last name anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh.
We used to do this thing we called jokingly the Kennedy Crunch. Now, my mother was 5'3.5". Do not forget the half. She will have my head, even though she has since passed. She will still come down and have my head. Anyway, we would put her in the middle, and then there would be my brother and me on either side. We would then hug each other quite strongly. So, of course, we named it. She turned around and she says, "You're gonna crush me. You're gonna crush me." So we called it the Kennedy Crush. We used to love to do it to one of my aunts who we didn't really think too highly of. But we did it to her just to be spiteful. But it was so much fun, you know. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't give my half inch. Yes, in certain things, size does matter. I was waiting for that. That, side-eye thing,
Cinnamon roll by you.
You can't even look this way, Kat, for crying out loud. People want to see your face. Sheesh. Well, don't feel bad. I used to go out with a girl that was 4'11".
Oh.
Made for an interesting time on the dance floor.
Well, I used to be 5'10.5" now. I'm about 5'7".
Yeah, she's shrinking. But then again, so am I, probably. Just wanted to stop and say thank you very much for having their memory not again. Just posted what I did with my kid again. Thank you. No problem, Cindy. It will be every year, just so that you know. Next year, I do plan on having sponsors and gifts and giveaways and all of that.
Hi, Lizzie.
Hey, Lizzie. Lizzie's World of Gems. she's another hot ticket. Although I've been really lax at getting to people's lives and living chats and whatnot. I gotta get back into that.
We have to start doing it.
But yes, we all do shrink. I know. Yeah, 4'9". She's midget status, almost. But anyway, so yeah, it's like I said. That's why this chat is so. Well, it's like my lives. It's random.
It's random.
Because it gives us all a chance as caregivers, whether it be former or current.
Once it's former. Okay,
Yeah.
so going rapidly into the need.
Whether it be former or current, it gives us all the chance to sit and talk about things that we just feel like talking about, whether it be events or current events or what we're going through with a particular issue at home and with family and with the person you're caregiving for, or just to tell jokes. It doesn't matter. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to relax. It's a time to enjoy. I do appreciate everyone that's here. No, I am not leaving yet, so I'm not signing off. But I know you want me to. I know you want me to shut my mouth, but sorry, too bad. So sad. Not really.
What?
What?
No, go ahead. I'm going to ask you a
Go
question.
ahead. Ask.
What are different types of caregivers?
Well, there's emotional,
Yeah.
mental, physical,
Yeah. Okay.
and probably others on top of that.
Okay.
I would think anyway. So yeah, Melanie, go ahead and answer that while I continue to ramble and rant and rave and do whatever. Lizzie, I don't think you've been here yet. On our these are special ones that come up at the end of every month. They are, as it says, monthly caregiver support. Because when we were caregivers, Lenore and I were caregivers for 25 years, 26 years, somewhere around there. We were actually caregivers before we were even married, because we moved out of state from Massachusetts and we took her mother with us to take care of her, even though we were just living together at the time.
That's true. You're not being in, that type of work.
Yep. And she's absolutely right. I didn't even think of those things.
Thank you.
Because not even just specialized foster, but foster parents in of themselves are caregivers, because when you got somebody that's been in the system for any length of time, they're probably not easy to foster. Yep, exactly, Kat. And that's what I had said earlier, is the people that are paid to do the work that they do still need the support. They still need to say, hey, and part of that support is saying, atta boy, or atta girl, or atta whatever. You're doing a good job. Thank you for doing your job. Because we all need to hear that every now and then. Yep.
That's sad.
But
I mean, it's a blessing to them, but it's still sad. There's no one going to care for them.
When I was helping to take care of my father, I got a lot of that from people that he worked with, and people that knew him that were his friends were basically saying, probably, a personal support worker. But yeah, they would turn around and say to me, what a fantastic job I was doing, or, they don't think they could do what I was doing. And I'm like, yeah, but I have my wife. I'm not doing it all alone.
Well, you had your mother too.
Yeah, then there was Mom. Back when she was, well, or as well as could be considered for 80 some odd years old, 70 some odd years old. But so I wasn't doing it alone. In later years, it was just Lenore and I still wasn't doing it alone, even though sometimes we both individually felt like we were alone, because it was her family or mine, which doubles your impact. Excuse me. Not only are you caring for somebody, but you're caring for somebody you love. So it sort of magnifies that. And it magnifies, not only does it magnify the feeling, but it magnifies the stress. Which can be quite harsh on the system. And that's fine, Lizzie. I mean, it's all still the same. It's still support, somebody who's giving support, a caregiving support, whether you're paid for it or not. And I hesitate to say that it's easier on professionals, because I don't think it is. I just think that it's additional stress because it's somebody that you love, not necessarily harder or easier. It's just additional stress. So I don't mean to make it sound like I'm belittling anything, because I'm not by a long shot.
When Lee was away for a little, I had my brother and my sister-in-law at home with me, and Klein had Alzheimer's. That's my brother. He would wander away from the house. Now I'm working in Salem. We lived in Chelsea, and I had to drive to Salem, Massachusetts every day, which isn't a great big problem, but it was far away. And I'd come home and Alice would tell me, Alice was my sister-in-law, Klein's wife. He went to the store. And the next thing I know, the police would be bringing him home. It wasn't working, obviously, because I couldn't stay at home with them because I had to work. We ended up having to find an old age place closer to his son. So,
yeah, I'm not going there either.
And by the end of it, he didn't even know who I was, which almost broke my heart. But that's what that stuff does. I can see that too, Melanie.
Yep. I can imagine so, Melanie. I can imagine so. It's additional stress that you just didn't need. And that's, I don't know, I think that's the long and short of it, is the fact that it's hard work. It is a lot of stress, and individual factors stress out more than, individual people, stress more than others. So it's not even the same from one person to the next. I could tell a story that people would relate to, but other people might say, "Oh, that's nothing," because of they could have the same story, but the stress affected them differently than it affected me, for example. One of my common things is like to throw Tammy under the bus for a second. Tammy, as you all know, all you have to do is say, "Hey, Tammy, I got a secret," and she goes ape. You know, you got to tell me. You got to tell me. I might die if you don't tell me now. Part of that is kidding. Part of that is joking. Part of that she really has to know. Whereas with me, they tell me something like that, and I go, "Oh, okay." Big whoop. You know? And that's what I'm talking about when I say different people stress different ways. You know, to me, something may not be a big deal. To others, it may be a big deal. And conversely, I may consider something a big deal, and that same person might think it's not a big deal. Same two people, two different situations, two different scenarios, two different reactions. You know? Huh? Oh, I see. Yep. He can hear you. What'd you do? Oops. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, well, YouTube is a different beast altogether.
That's not it. Because I used to have to type stuff in my.
Yeah, but you're also working on a smaller keyboard.
I'm working on a smaller keyboard, but the problem is my fingers.
Sheesh. Again, see, different stresses. But yeah, we lived up in Massachusetts, so you know, the Cape, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, you know, Maine, all were places we could go, and they were quite soothing, quite comforting at times. I still got to get her up there to play tourist during foliage season, so she can see the colors in the mountains. Hello, Laura. Yeah, well, we lived in Beverly, right next door. We used to go to Salem all the time for Bill and Bob's.
Oh, we just went over the bridge.
Yep.
And I worked in Salem at the time. I worked in the welfare department there too. Oh, that was a fun job.
Yep. Oh, you worked for the welfare department. That was
In Salem and Beverly.
in a sense was caregiving.
Yeah. Well, some
In a
of them.
sense,
Some of
you
them.
you didn't have direct contact with families. But
Sometimes they made it that way.
yeah, well,
I
you know.
didn't get paid enough for that, but they trusted me.
Yeah.
Crazy. They're a good bunch of caseworkers, though.
Yeah.
The best they could.
But Yeah, I can see where that would be the case, Melanie, where they would shared experiences and perspectives
Yeah,
would be helpful.
yeah, I can see that too.
You know, for those of you, by the way, that have missed the live, even though it's not ending just yet, there were a couple of suggestions that you may want to go back and listen to afterwards. You know, watch the replay to the point where you can, because there were some suggestions that we wouldn't mind your input on or feedback on. I can imagine, Laura, I can imagine it's not easy to see somebody that, especially when you haven't seen them in a long time, and you remember them in one condition and then see them later on in another. It's not easy, not easy at all. I unfortunately watched my father deteriorate slowly. And I was there every day for it. So yeah, that's not easy either. I know in my mother's situation, I hadn't watched the full deterioration, but yeah, my brother got most of that torture. Actually, he got 99% of it. Plus the fact that he was playing taxi to get her back and forth to doctor's appointments all the time.
And watching his
And my brother, who will admittedly and happily agree that he is a mama's boy. I mean, to the extreme. Funny story. My father used to tell is they were sitting at the kitchen table, and my father they were talking about the will and who passed first and that kind of thing. And my father made the comment or my mother made the comment that she would never get remarried. And my father commented back, better not get married. She can shack up with anybody she wants to, but she better not get remarried. And my brother pushed himself halfway across the room because the kitchen table had the chairs with the wheels on it. Pushed himself halfway across the room. My mother would never do any such thing. But yeah, he's definitely a mama's boy. Like I said, he'll be the first one to admit it to. So for him, it had to have been, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Laura, exactly. You feel hopeless. You really do. Even when you're a caregiver and you're doing everything you're able to, you still feel hopeless because you can't make it go away. You can't make it better. You can make the circumstances around it better, whatever that particular issue is, but you can't make it better. So yeah, you do feel hopeless. I know I did every single day. Every day I felt hopeless and helpless, because all I can do is take them to the doctor. All I can do is remember their appointments. All I can do is make sure they remember their meds. Not in my mother-in-law's case, that wasn't a problem because she had everything all.
Oh my Lord, she had it charted in a notebook.
Yep, she had it all charted in her notebook, and she checked that notebook every single day.
And all of her appointments and everything.
Yep. But I just had to remember them. Remember when I had to take her. or when I had to turn around and call my boss and say, I can't work that day. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really is.
Did you read that? Less helpless.
Was hopeless. Melanie, I'm not so sure there was anything um, realistically that would make me feel less hopeless. Um, I had moments of feeling good about what I was able to do because the person that I was taking care of would make a comment, not unlike, I don't know what I'd do without you. Not necessarily those words, and not but that kind of sentiment, where it made me feel like, okay, so I am doing some good, you know. But that was brief, you know. Yeah, it made me feel like, okay, I am doing something, but it never lasted, you know. And I don't think it ever could, you know. Yep. I would have to do, if I was to do something like that again today, Kat, I would probably have to do the same thing. Back then, my memory was pretty good, you know, and I could remember these things. Uh, no, unfortunately, Laura, there isn't. I can attest to that. Between my neuropathy and the surgeries I've had to have on my feet, and the surgeries I'm going to have on my feet here in the future, shoot, I never called them back. I got to call them Monday. Um, but between all of those surgeries and whatnot, other than that, there's really not much I can do. My father had neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy. I have diabetic neuropathy. As a matter of fact, I tend to chuckle because we have both of us had the same surgical experience. At one point in time, my father was having his foot operated on, and he didn't use an anesthesiologist. When he got done, he looked at the doctor and he said, you know, I could have sworn that I heard, you know, was I at least partially under, because I could have sworn I heard a hammer and chisel. And he said, you did. We had to chip away bone. And at one point, I was getting my foot operated on the second or third time, second time, I think. And they had bone that was growing that was causing a problem. So they had to go in and chip the bone out. And I had to laugh because I didn't have any anesthesia at the time. I was sitting there listening to it, and I turned around and I looked at the doctor and I laughed. And then I, of course, told him the event. You know, what was so funny. When he got done, I says, how big was the bone piece? Let me see. So the nurse actually showed me the bone piece, and all I could think of is when you make furniture and you put the tongue and groove type deals, you know, the little sliver pieces into joint, you know, the joining slivers, was one of those, because that's what it looked like to me. You know? And yes, they do, Laura. They get angry at the caregivers, but they're not angry at the caregivers. Okay, don't, you know, they take it out on the caregivers. They're angry because somebody has to be a caregiver. They can't do it themselves anymore. So they tend to take that anger out on the caregiver. It's an unfortunate side effect, so you might say. You know, it's not fun. It can be depressing. It can even get you at times to think, well, why am I doing it if they're going to be nothing but be angry at me all the time? You know? No, I know. I'm just saying that's what, that's how you make it think. But of course, you do it because you love them. No, I did it because I hated them. Oh, I couldn't stand my parents. No, especially my father.
Idolized.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I remember the first time I said, well, he fell from his pedestal. Because I did. I felt I had my father up on a pedestal. Not rightfully so. He didn't deserve it, but I mean, hell, he was no angel. But it was my dad. But ew, spinal fluid. Yep, I've been using a cane for quite some time. My neuropathy led to, as I've explained before, that the Charcot foot, which is the deformation of the foot where my foot went sideways. The bottom of my right foot was looking at my left foot to see how it was supposed to stand. My ankle then learned how to be my heel for me to walk. Well, it was true.
I know.
You remember how I was walking?
I do remember.
I used to have so many people ask me how, doesn't that hurt? Because I just walk like anybody else. And, well, as best I could, like anybody else. But I just kept on walking, and they're like, doesn't that hurt? And no, I got no feeling in my feet. That was the one time I think I was thankful for having no feeling. Because had I had feeling, I would have been in such pain.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep, and there are. My brother-in-law used to make walking sticks.
Does he?
No, your brother.
Oh, my brother. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Oh,
my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law, yes. Well, I'm thinking Barbara.
No.
All right.
He used to make some really gorgeous walking sticks, which is basically, in a sense, can be considered the same thing. You could probably make canes out of them too. But he would find a stick out in the woods, bring it home, whittle it down. And I don't mean down to a circle. He'd keep the original shape of the stick and just smooth it out and put lacquer all over it and, whatever it was that he used. Put a handle on it, and you had a walking stick, and it was absolutely, he could make some really, really gorgeous stuff. But yeah. Disclaimer and a thank you letter. for any future caregivers that don't think.
Well, I've already warned Lee, but he's known me long enough.
Well, Kat, you're an RN, of course you don't.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm in the medical field. I know better. That's what I say to that. Yeah. there was once a comedian who did some things, and he was talking about what he looked at for support. And they would turn around, somebody would turn around and say to him, well, don't you think using that is just a crutch? And his comment back to them was very simply, well, when you're crippled, a crutch isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know? Yep. Well, that's true. And Laura, it's another one of my sayings that I found, and I don't even remember where I found it so long ago. But the saying is basically, I once felt bad for having no shoes until I met a man with no feet. You know, there's always somebody worse off than we are. And you're not going to know about that unless you go through it yourself. You know? There's just no way you can empathize to a degree. I think empathize is the word I'm looking for anyway. My English is not the greatest. But at any rate, you can empathize to a certain degree, but you will never, you just can't say, I understand. Because unless you've been through it, you can't. You know? So I don't know any better way to put it than any of that. You know?
Did you take names Lee, for those people who think it's a good idea to have an event next month for caregivers?
You're asking me to remember things again. I didn't even remember to write it down. I'm sure they'll leave comments. Yeah. They'll be nice and they'll say, wait a minute, Lee has a Swiss cheese memory. We better write it in comments that we think it's a good idea. To hear one of my whipping chats live, so whatever the case may be.
Any help would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Wait a minute, it says who?
Me.
I don't like having help. I do it all alone by myself because I can. Yeah, right. But you know the point. You know.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Like I said, unless you've been there, you know, you can't understand. There's just no way. Not only that, but you really can't even then, because the situations are different, because you're different. You know, and each person reacts differently to different things, like I had mentioned earlier. So truly, you can never really understand because you're not them. You know? So you do have a point, even more so than I was thinking originally. But anyway, it has been an hour and 15 minutes. I'm sure you guys have much better things to do on your Saturday than listen to me ramble and listen to my wife throw me under the bus. Did you write it down? Did you write down the names? Go ahead, throw me under the bus. See what I
didn't
can.
say it like that. I was very nice about it. Too bad you can't handle a question.
No, you can't. That's true. But who says I can't handle the question? I handled the question quite well, thank you. I just climbed all over you.
Putting off housework.
But I got, well, in that case, you want to listen to me because you just don't want to do housework. I see how it is. Well, and that's the other thing too, is the fact that I did put this on at 1 o'clock, not only because it's Saturday and nobody's at work. Well, not, I shouldn't say nobody, but a good majority of people aren't at work. It's the middle of the afternoon, but it's also if there's anybody over in the UK or other areas that are so far in the time zone,
Oh, thank you.
they can enjoy it without having to wait until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is what some people were doing. Yeah. And thank you, Laura. That is appreciated. By the way, I gotta give you some props. That wax is wonderful stuff. I love that wax. And the smell of the other one is fantastic. I'm still doing a little bit of a learning curve thing with it because I just don't. It doesn't. I'm not filling it up enough when I'm using it because I use it. Then it's like, oh wait a minute, it's already hard to pick up, so I got to put more in it. So I'm still in the fill up learning process. But other than that, there she is. Uh-oh, what are you looking at? Yeah, you. What are you looking at? Huh? Pretty kitty. Nope. Turn away. See how that is. Oh, that ought to be interesting. I might like to see that.
What's that?
I'll have to buy some. Puppy.
Beautiful kitty. She knows it.
Yes, she does. Now she's going to come over and bug me for a change. She never does this, by the way. I want you to know. She never does this.
No, she doesn't.
But lately she tries to get her tail pulled. Come here.
No, she won't.
Wrong way.
She's just sitting. Leave her alone.
Lately she comes over to try to get her tail pulled. She likes to have her tail pulled for some reason. And I don't mean yanked, by the way, for those of you that think I'm abusing my cat. I mean literally just as she's walking by, I will run my hand down her body, and then when it gets to her tail, I'll just close my hand around her tail and give just the slightest of resistance as she's walking through. And then she comes back and looks for more. That's why I snap, because when I snap like that, that's usually when she turns around and comes back again.
I like the fact that she's going to him. Because for the longest time since we've had them, the two of them sort of imprinted on me. And my boy cat does not like having anyone else around him.
Oh, well, any other cat around.
Right. He doesn't care about humans, but he's been horrendous to her. So now she's starting to go to leave, which makes me quite happy because it's another person she can love on.
Kitty, 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 kitty. Oh, what are you chasing? Oh. You're chasing shadows again? You're chasing shadows again. But
You ginger cat used to do that too, huh?
Yep. Well, Laura has, what is it, 2 Siamese now? I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about Laura. Laura, anxiety argument.
Yes.
When you start watching hers, you'll see her Siamese and one other one that I don't remember what it is. Because it's fairly new to the family. That's it. Tonkinese. A Tonkinese. But anyway.
Yes.
Let's see if I can do this without getting squirreled again. I do want to thank everybody for coming.
Yes.
It has been very enjoyable. I hope you have had some fun. I hope you have been able to relax a little bit, maybe get a little bit of finally other people know what I'm going through type situation. Kat, I will talk to you at some point in time, either in Discord or whatever, and see what you think of the idea, and run things by you too. And whoever else wants to get a hold of me on Discord, or I do have Facebook, and I do have, I have Facebook Messenger, Facebook, and I do have Instagram. I should do a link tree one of these days.
Everyone have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, have a great whatever's left of your weekend.
Thank you, everybody. We really didn't know if we were going to have.
Yeah.
And it was no one here when we started. One person was there.
Yeah.
Sorry, whoever it was. We're both old.
It was Cat.
Was a cat.
But at any rate, remember that you need to let those around you know that they are seen and that they are appreciated. And above all, remember that words can do a great deal of good or a great deal of harm. They do tend to cut not just like a knife, but as worse than a knife in many aspects. Because they don't just leave physical scars, they leave mental ones. Well, on that note, have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, until either the next live I'm in or we see you again.
Yes. Words matter either way, you're right.
Yes, that is true. They do matter either way. And on that note, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Now, let it end.